What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a couple mods to the R53 Mini. Ignore that it's filthy, because it is. What we're doing today is, because it's the coolest day of the week, I'm going to be putting a new head unit in, new door speakers, and new rear speakers. Because, number one, this is the OEM head unit. It works fine. I actually don't know if the CD player works. Never tried it. But I am missing my volume button, which is kind of annoying. You can still turn it, but, like, it's a pain. I do have steering wheel controls, but, you know, whatever. And secondly, because I've been using Perry down here, which has been working pretty great, but, you know, I just want to not have extra stuff. This was a temporary solution while I saved up to buy the head unit and speakers because it was super cheap. But head unit and speakers are here, along with a few other things. They're in the trunk, so we're going to wander over there now, and I will show you guys all that I have. Okay, so I got all this from Crutchfield. Everything ended up being about, I want to say like $300. It was actually pretty cheap. But we have a Alpine head unit. We have a set of kicker front speakers. These are the front door ones, 5 1/4 inch, and then a set of kicker 6x9s for the rear. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. These factory speakers are blown, which is why I need to replace them. They function, but you know, they crackle real bad, and I'm tired of it. So when ordering from Crutchfield, they give you a lot of options on extras that you can get with your setup. I picked a lot of the free stuff. If you guys are not too good at wiring yourself, you can actually have them ship you a pre-built wiring harness. I think they charge like between $30 and $50 depending on the car to just plug your head unit in and be done. But we are going to be building our head unit harness today. But we also have front door speaker rings right here. They also gave us, here is our dash install kit, which is literally just a kind of vague holder. And then we have these are the front, I believe, door speaker conversion harnessy guys. We have dropping stuff. We have our dash wiring kit that we're going to use for our head unit to make this plug and play into our dashboard. Comes with an extra length of wire too. We'll talk about that. These are the other speaker harness adapters. And then we have finally a antenna adapter. So to start this all off, the first thing I'm going to do is open up our head unit box. I'm going to take the harness piece and we are going to build the harness. So let me get this open real quick and I will show you guys what we're working with. Okay, so we are up here on the workbench to put our harness together for our new head unit. So, a quick rundown of what everything kind of comes with, what it is. We have the actual head unit itself right here. You can see we're using an ALPINE UTE 73BT. This doesn't play CDs or anything, it's just a media receiver. It comes with a microphone for your phone calls. We have the removable faceplate right here, the unit itself. These little tools right here are for actually pulling the head unit out of the cage, which is right here on the unit itself, and a couple screws to hold it in place. Then we have the wiring harness from the Alpine unit. This is the harness that's going to adapt it into the car. This one's a little different because we have this extra red wire, which I will show you what we're going to do with, but this is to supply power. This should be the factory back clip basically for the car's harness, and then we're going to add this wire in to provide power to this guy right here. And then again, we have our little faceplate holder guy, and our antenna adapter. But we don't need to worry about these guys right now. What I'm going to do is start making this harness, and I'll kind of bring you guys along in stages so you can see everything come together, and then I'll explain like kind of what goes where, why this does this, so forth, so on, to make this thing plug and play into the car, and of course where our little red wire goes. So I'm gonna gather my soldering supplies, my little wire assisters to help me hold my wires while I solder, and start putting stuff together. Okay, and so the main part of our harness is done. You can see everything is together. You know, just some information for you guys. A lot of this stuff, especially when it comes to radios, they're super straightforward. It's literally just color matching, so you can see, you know, yellow to yellow, black to black. When you have two of the same colors, but you'll have one with a black stripe, like right there, you can see black stripe and black stripe. Those are for the individual speakers in the car. So for example, purple to purple, purple with black stripe to purple with black stripe. The grays, the greens, and the white ones are all for your speakers. The only difference on this particular harness is we have a blue going to a blue with a white stripe on this, which is for the antenna. And now, on this particular piece, we're sort of done. We've used every wire available on the Metra little adapter guy, and now we have a couple left to deal with over here on the unit that plugs into the Alpine, which we have red, orange, and blue. Now, blue will end up getting used for if you're adding amplifiers and subwoofers for remote turn on. Orange is for illumination, and on this particular car is not used, but we do need to get red, which is power, to the unit. Now, that's where this extra bit of wire comes into play on this particular unit. Now, for the BMW and Mini cars, we are actually going to plug this red wire into the slot right here. Just make sure I'm showing you guys the correct slot to click from, right here between the yellow and the black. So you'll notice we have our pin, and if we flip this around, you can see yellow is this one, black is, sorry, hope you could see, there you go. Yellow is this one, black is this one, and there's a hole right there where we're going to push this pin through until it kind of snaps in place, and you'll definitely feel it, you know, snap in place once it locks in, and it won't come out. From there, we're going to cut off the other end, which is this guy, because we don't need it, and then we are going to splice it into this red wire. So we're gonna push this through the back, lock it in. Let's see if we can one hand this real quick. Don't know if I can. Want to make sure it's going the right way too. Okay, sideways. Yep. So we'll see if we can get that to go. Nope. Okay, so I'm gonna push this in real quick, put the camera down, push this in, and then connect it over to this red wire, and then I'll show you the kind of completed harness. You can see our red wire is in. You can give it a nice little tug, doesn't come out, it's locked in there, and he's spliced into our harness on the other side. From here, there's just one little thing to do to kind of finish up with the harness, and that's make this neater, because you don't want to just leave this kind of, you know, flopping around in your interior. Quick easy way to do that is with some zip ties. So I'm going to zip tie this harness all together and show you how it kind of looks after, but I just wanted you guys to see the before, because like you can see how everything's just kind of loosey-goosey, and you know, we're going to clean that up and make it a little bit neater here real quick. So here we are, all zip tied together. I'll cut these short right before I'm done with the install, But for now, any excess wires that are a little bit longer in length, like the antenna, the power, and the ground, and the whatever the yellow was, I don't remember off the top of my head, battery lead, yeah, they're a bit longer wires, so I just kind of loop them a bit just to get them to fold in nicely to the harness. And you can see I left out the illumination and the remote. I do plan on adding a sub at some point, so at which point I will need to access this, which is why it's not a part of the stuff in. You can just add some zip ties later down the line to tie it into the rest of the harness in any way you need to. But you know, this is the actual harness. It doesn't take that long to make. Do yourself a favor and solder it, or use crimp connectors if you have them. They have crimp connectors these days that you can buy on Amazon. In fact, I have a bunch. Yeah, they have these ones that they have built-in heat shrink, so you just connect them and then, you know, heat it with a lighter, whatever. They also have regular crimps, and they have unsheathed crimps for smaller installation. I usually solder radio harnesses because they're in the car and they're not in an area that's going to see a lot of heat. You know, not for the engine bay basically, but because it's in the car, no heat. So I'll solder it together and just make it kind of nice, neat, and easy to deal with. So now we are going to take all this fun stuff back down to the car and uninstall the factory head unit. And you know, we should be able to plug this in on the factory harness side, plug this directly into our head unit, and you should be able to turn the key and just good to go. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. I'll bring you along to show you how to get that OEM head unit out of there. We'll do a test run, make sure everything is functioning correctly, and then we'll go ahead and install the unit into the car and be done with this video. So let's go take that head unit out, the stock one. Okay, we are back down here at the car. I've brought a variety of tools, some torque screwdrivers, Phillips, flathead, some pry tools, and that really should be about all you need. The first thing you're going to want to do is take this lower panel. You can see it's hinged underneath the steering wheel. It just pops forward from, you kind of reach right here, grab it, give her a pull. That one was kind of sketchy, felt very fragile. Basically, pop that down so you have access to 1, 2, and then the same screws are right there on the other side. To gain access to this top one, you're just going to open the glove box, and then you have access to the top one. That'll loosen these side pillars here, and then we're going to pop this guy up, which again, pry tools, you're literally just gonna pop this in there, pop it up. I believe something comes out of here in the cup holders as well. We'll kind of go through that as I do it. And remove this piece of the console, make it so these little uprights are loose, so we have access to the screws holding the head unit in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out the side screws. You know, I'll pop this up and show you guys how that works. Find what's going on up here, because again, there's some screws there. And yeah, I'll let you all know. Yeah, this switch just pried up. There were 2 little Phillips screws down there. You can see, I believe, yeah, there's 1, 2, just couldn't see them from my position. Phillips screws, and then you pop the console up a bit and pull it back. I pulled the shift boot inside out just to assist and put it into 4th gear, just to kind of give myself a little more room here. Then these little side guys just kind of pop out. That one I just left in because it doesn't matter. But you can see we have access to 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll pull those out and slide the whole head unit out towards me and unplug it, and we can start testing our new unit. So everything is out. These 4 screws are out. The old unit is chilling right there. So now we are left with our main car harness right here. When this is in, this little guy is folded over. You literally just push it over and it disconnects the whole thing in one piece. We're going to connect that to our new radio harness we made earlier. And then we have our antenna plug, which connects to our antenna adapter harness right here. So we're going to plug in the adapter harness to here. We're going to plug in the harness that we made right here to there. And then we also, of course, have our microphone for talking, our faceplate. But before we get to the faceplate, there's one other thing we have to do here, which is set the new head unit into the sort of bracket. Now, this bracket is, sure I can see here again. Come on, click, click, thank you. Pretty simple. We are literally just going to slide the head unit into this and then bend the tabs up. So I will go ahead and slide this on and then show you what that looks like. But this is going to replace the factory mounting system. So you can see these holes line up to where the screws were. So this will all be screwed in and the head unit itself will be secured to this piece here. We have our wires hooked up. We have our head unit hooked up. You can see we are working. Got the Bluetooth connected. We're gonna go ahead and select some royalty-free bass house music. I don't know what this is, so this is not reflective of taste. But this will give you a good idea of why we're gonna be replacing the speakers. But see, we are working. Let's see if I can't skip ahead to some bassy parts. And you can hear that there's some rattle. It's not terrible, but like, yeah, these factory speakers are done, but that's why we have new speakers for it. But let's go ahead and pause this. But you can see that the head unit is on, everything is wired up correctly. The only thing left to do is hook in the microphone, decide where I'm going to run that. Let's go ahead and shut this off for now. Decide where I'm going to run the microphone for the phone, and then shove this all back in there. And I'll show you what it looks like once it's all said and done. So we are totally back together now. Everything put back nicely in its home. Interior completely reassembled. New head unit is in. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the results. I think it came together real nice. Not every dash kit honestly comes together as nice as this one does, so I'm pretty stoked on that. But yeah, like you guys heard with the quick test, my speakers are definitely blown. They are not doing so hot, but I mean, to be expected. It's a 20-year-old car effectively with factory paper little speakers. So we're going to be addressing those next. Not today. That's going to do it for today. Oh, real quick actually, just to finish up, I mounted the microphone up here. I just cut the little clip that the microphone came with, so it was mostly a flat surface. Used a little bit of wax and grease remover, put some 3M tape on, put it up there, and the wire just ran through here, you know, onto the side. There's a pretty big gap to run the wire for it through. But that way it's all nice and tucked. It's directly in front of you, so when you're talking, you know, it's very easy to transmit your voice and have everything be heard and good stuff. But that is going to do it for the head unit install in the R53. If you guys have any questions, comments, etc., by all means leave that down below in those comments. But that's going to do it. Let us know what you guys thought of the video down below. And, you know, I appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all in the next one.